sunbeam Hopping on boats and miss a mirror Boats and miss a mirror Fine, but corazón bien Pienso a do, re, mi, fa, mi Bien, malo, suta, oye And I feel I do this, I know Begin up, I'll get all high Just to get to, yeah I do this, I'm very mild to you
I can walk on bait 가서 세세세세 I can design my fantasyベイトでワイルドカスなやりていこう糸でヘルスビビス恋とでヘルス
つ愛ですバイおばはおがゆエヴァ街道 Here fine Adore this adore this あのビギナーボケをはいチャンスギトある Adore this adore this のドキティでは
we go. There we go. We are live. What's up? 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 David Dao, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing well. I don't know what's up with Twitter. I schedule it to go live. It shows the little broadcast is running. I'm doing everything right, and it just doesn't go live. There should be a button. There should be a button. Okay, I'll quit complaining. David Dao, but not part of a DAO. It's actually your last name, right? I remember when I first met you, I was like, wow, that's hardcore, making it part of your identity. But it's actually just just your name.
Yeah, no, my joke's always my mom's been bullish on DAOs before DAOs, so I guess that's why.
Yes, exactly. You're an OG Taoist. So also, I feel like I learned more about you. Claudebot here did some research, and you were in AI before crypto. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay, and then you did a lot of crypto stuff, and now it's kind of coming back to AI and DAOs, and that's kind of what we're here to talk about. But yeah, why don't you give us a better intro than that? Hit me up. Sorry for my loose intro.
No, totally fine. I also love this place. Slop.Computer is awesome.
Welcome to the Slop. Yes,
I was
you were
looking
deep
around
in it.
while we were setting up for live stream. No, I'm David Dao. Dao is actually my last name. It's kind of prophetic that I'm now working like supporting ENS DAO, for example, and other works on this as well. But initially, like I studied computer science, and was interested in AI back in 2012, very early on, and been doing like a lot of AI stuff. Ended up doing a PhD in AI as well, and published a couple of papers in AI conferences. And then while I was like doing my PhD, I fell in love, and I've been always very passionate about the environment. And so I started a nonprofit called GainForest. And that nonprofit uses technology, including AI, initially not blockchain, to monitor rainforests and pay like indigenous and local communities. But the only way to pay them after many months of trying out different things was crypto, especially Ethereum and other on-chain solutions, because they don't have wallet access or bank. They were basically unbanked, right? And that's how I moved into crypto and appreciated the beauty of this technology, being able to just transfer anything from A to B without middleman, without waiting for days, without my banks calling me and asking me if I'm like money laundering to indigenous communities. So it's been a wonderful experience. So I've been blessed also with the public goods community in crypto that have been supporting GainForest from day one, even before GainForest was a thing, right? Like Protocol Labs gave us a big grant back then, Filecoin. And so we got going, and like the NGO grew, and we decided to also contribute back to the public goods community that helped us grow as an NGO, right? And so by doing that, naturally, some of the things that we learned at GainForest, being like a real-world NGO, deploying like AI and Web3 technology, we brought back to Web3. So we supported, for example, using some of these AI tech also to deploy public goods funding in Web3, in Gitcoin, and with Octans later on. And later on also I joined Protocol Labs Research and Development to really push forward that idea of leveraging technology to support public goods like Ethereum, the environment, AI safety. There's a ton of stuff that is just under supported. Yeah, that's kind of the story.
Yeah, this is a really neat collision of a lot of things. And this podcast is kind of about sloperators, as I call them, and it's sort of like idea guy summer is something I keep bringing up, and I feel like you were kind of one of these guys. Like I would see you at hackathons, and you would be particularly powerful when teamed up with a highly technical builder that you could work with. And now you kind of have that probably in Claude or Codex, and this must have been like a 10x for you once this, like, I don't know, I feel like there was a big turning point for a lot of people around November of 2025 when Opus 4.5 came out. But like, what has been your journey with like building in AI? The AI research stuff is really interesting, and I think we should get into, you know, like what it was back then and what it is now. But like the building with AI is kind of the topical part of this podcast, but I want to talk about both. But like, what was November 2025 a big change for you? Were you building before that, and was it hard? Now are you like 10x building all sorts of things? What do you say?
It definitely was mind blowing, because we've been using like Cursor and stuff like this. I think I've always been keen towards more building and prototyping things very fast. I think we met in a hackathon last year in Bhutan, which was awesome.
Yeah.
And I was teamed up with a really good dev, Carl, which
Carl.
is
Shout out Carl. Yeah.
But I think one of the limitations that I always have is like, as an ideas guy, that who I am, and also a researcher, I publish ideas, I write them up, I run an NGO that is very innovative and as well. There's a ton of ideas that I want to implement, but the practice was always that I was bottlenecked by engineering power. So I was running at the same time GainForest with like a bunch of new things that we need to try and iterate and see if, because no one has ever deployed anything like this in the rainforest. To Simocracy, that's something we're going to talk about in a second.
Yes, let's
we
talk
use
about
digital sims and twins to delegate funding. So these things are like humongous engineering projects if you think about them, right? Before AI, before November 2025, Opus came, it already took us quite a lot of engineering power to do one thing properly, to build like a 3D visualization globe for GainForest, or to even run like the first prototype with Gitcoin, which was called DeepGov back then, using like Telegram agents to distribute funding. That took us months of work to engineer. Was fun. Like, don't get me wrong, I love building stuff. But then once these models got bigger and bigger, I quickly realized the potential of that, and I told my team, guys, we need to be on top of the games. November on, and you saw like this meter leaderboard where it doubled the capacity of like a model every couple months. And like, okay, this is engineering. If that's true, engineering is going to be solved like by end of this year and even earlier. And so we have to ride this wave, or we're going to be swallowed by it, right? And so instantly moved the whole team towards agentic engineering, like vibe coding, loop engineering, and just being on the forefront ever since. And that really helped us push things faster than before. For example, we spent 9 months in GainForest to build like the GainForest.app. It was full of bugs. It was like really difficult. It was not launchable. And I told my engineer after 9 months, man, we have to just throw the whole thing away and rebuild it. And he was like, what the heck, David? We spent 9 months of work already. I'm like, I know, but Opus can build it in one day.
Yes,
He can rewrite the whole thing. Don't be scared about throwing away legacy code, because honestly, this is the time to throw things away and just rebuild them. And instead of iterating on a buggy MVP, just build things from scratch, right? And we've done this, believe it or not, 3 times. After that, within like 4 weeks, 5 weeks, we just rebuilt this thing 3 times, and then we launched. And it's been great ever since. No bugs. So I was like, okay, yeah, this is what it is right now.
So and you personally are building too. It's not just you have a team of people that you have building, but you probably are prompting and creating things also. What is your like personal stack? What do you use personally?
Yeah, so I have a team at GainForest that's engineering stuff, but then I took a couple months off GainForest last year to build DeepGov and Simocracy, and that's my personal thing. That's like kind of the thing that I built myself, with ideas input from many other people. But like engineering-wise, basically, I touched every single line of the code. There has no one else touching it, which was super fun, because I got really close to the AIs that are building that. And so my stack is basically, I use CMAX as a terminal multiplexer. Okay. Beautiful thing. So I can manage all these different kind of ideas and projects on the left side of the sessions, and then I have tabs, and then each tab runs a terminal session that runs Pi, which is
the Pi agent.
Pi agent. And then in the Pi agent, I basically run every single model. We have subscriptions from OpenAI. We also hacked the Anthropic subscription such that we can use the subscription instead of paying for the API keys. API things, and so like leveraging all of that. It's been fun.
That's great. And do you have a favorite model right now, like your daily driver for like really when you need to build something? Which one are you using?
I use 3 different models. So I use it's privacy conscious because I want to also do ethical things. I don't want to give up my data like willingly and paying for it. I do use like Chinese open source models. So DeepSeek now just came out. GLM 5.2 was a good one. For my daily workhorse, if it's not too tough to crack, I use GPT 5.6 Soul. And if I think it's really tough to crack, or like it's something that I think will normal human time will take like 2 or 3 days, I just use Fable and squish it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Great. I like the way you think about it. But in your own Pi harness, you're not using the Claude Code harness or the Codex harness. You're using these Fable and GPT-5.6 Sol in the Pi harness, kind of talking to it as an agent. Let's dig into that. So I do a lot of these, and I ask a lot of people how they do it. And I think I hear a lot of people that say Pi, but I haven't had anybody on the show that's like using Pi as their daily driver.
Really?
Can you talk? Yeah. Can you talk more about it, and even more like about your environment? So CMUX, you've got the model. You're talking to it. You're probably keeping things in folders. You probably have a lot of MD files, but can you dig into that a little bit more about how you talk to Pi?
Should I share my screen? Do you want to see?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
So there's a share screen, this little screen button here. Yep. I'll get us out of the way while you're doing that.
Let me see if I can. Oh yeah. So I can share the entire screen here. So and then
There
this.
we go.
Do you see that?
Yep, we got it.
So this is CMUX. On the left side, you see I'm an ideas person. I have like tons of projects that I'm working on. GainForest, my big one. There's different kind of apps that I'm working on. Like I went to the cinema and I wanted to have from the web app like an Android app, and I just fabled it. And so on the right side, you see tabs you can create depending on it's. So it's really nicely organized depending on like the projects, then the terminals, and each of these
sessions. Is your own harness, or is this Pi? Like, what is creating these tabs and everything?
This is CMUX. This is like
an open source
tool.
Okay.
Yeah, CMUX.
Cool.
So instead of TMUX, it's like CMUX. Super cool.
Yeah.
And then let me go to Simocracy and I'll show you that. And then basically, I just start Pi in here, and that's my Pi session. Yeah.
Okay.
And then
so CMUX is kind of like your OS, your navigator to all your different projects. And then once you're in a project and you're in a specific space, then you fire up Pi. And do you tell Pi like what model you're going to use, or is that part of the configuration, or Pi asks you? What happens there?
It's sensitive, so you can do slash model, and then you can choose in session even which model you want to use. So I use my kind of like go-to is GPT 5.6 Sol, if like a workhorse. And then again, if I want something, I can say hi, for example. And if I want something really, really like tough to crack, I use Fable. And you can see here, it shows me my subscription, how much subscription I still have for my codex, as well as if I switch, for example, the model to Fable, it shows me my subscription of Fable, how much I still have in Fable as well. That's pretty neat.
Very nice. Yeah. And you didn't customize any of this stuff. All of this comes with Pi.
No.
This is customized.
Pi is super minimal, and you can see, for example, let me just reload. So it reloads the sessions, and then it shows you all the extensions I have installed here. You can have a look. Yeah,
cool.
These are kind of my extensions that I installed on Pi. Pi knows how to ask me questions, which is really cool.
Browser.
It keeps to-dos. It uses auto research if I need it, but that's usually an overkill. I have built my own Pi Simocracy extension, which is pretty nice. And then I have a couple of skills. I hacked together like I use Codex GPT image generator. Have Pi hacked together a skill to use it internally in Pi as well. My favorite one is I cannot live without that one. It's agent-browser. Let me see.
Agent-browser.
Man.
So it's like going to pull up a web browser and click for you and see what you see. Is that right? Okay.
Yeah, it's not just pull up the web browser. So it's not pulling up like it's a headless Chrome browser.
Oh, okay.
But
it
can go give it a fake account. It can click all the buttons, and it just creates this loop that self improves and fixes things. Yeah, it's really good.
Really nice. And that was. So these Pi extensions are extensions that you get from the Pi group, and then you would just add your own extensions as you need on top of that. Okay.
Yeah. So let me show that to you here.
Yeah, there we were.
So inside here, you can just get the extensions, and you can just find your favorite extensions, or you build it yourself. Like a couple of extensions I built myself, and it's been awesome to use Pi, because Pi's system prompt is so much smaller than Claude Code systems prompt that actually using Claude inside Pi saves you a bunch of tokens. I can use Fable much longer than if I would use it natively in Claude Code, which is ridiculous. And it's faster as well because it's a smaller system prompt. So yeah, things like this.
I love the minimal agents. I built my own minimal agent, and I have like really small, like different modules, and it does like the Claude -P, so I can talk to Fable the same way. But I really should look at Pi too and see what I can learn from that. Okay, let's get into Simocracy. I feel like that is like a big piece of what you've been building recently.
Yeah.
And if I understand correctly, you built it yourself, like with this setup that we just saw. Like the whole app was built by you, an idea guy, a guy that needed an engineer a year ago, like now can just like build this whole it really looks like a really interesting system. But can you explain the system of like what Simocracy is?
Yeah, so Simocracy, to understand Simocracy's history, you kind of have to understand where its origins. When I was working with indigenous and local communities in the rainforest, I usually they have a problem with like they do great work, but they need to raise funds to do their stuff, right? Who has funds? It's usually politicians, decision makers, like, I don't know, United Nations conferences. But every time you go to one of these conferences and you visit a panel, it's never any local people that are there. It's always, I don't know, the usual suspects. Usually old white men in suits, like sitting in one row talking about how indigenous people need money, but like they're not represented. I'm like, what the heck is what's going on? Why are they not represented? Why are they not at the table, right, on decision making, especially when it comes to funding for themselves? And so, kind of, it came up with the idea: can we not use AI to at least create a digital twin that represents their values better than some guy who has never visited the rainforest talking about them, right? And so the idea came with like, can we create maybe like a digital twin? And then we initially tested it out. There's a really cool, if you click on communities, so yeah, you can check out communities. And there's one tower. Do you see the Funding in Commons SF?
Yep.
If you click on that one,
that's this tower.
Yeah, you can just open the community on the right. Sorry, it's a little bit like so many clicks to open that. If you go to the right sidebar. Yeah.
Ooh, did I do it right? No.
Yeah, you can click on
here
on the bottom.
Oh, open community. Found it. Okay, cool.
So this was the first community where we tried out Simocracy at a large scale. So when I joined Protocol Labs Research and Development, I decided like this is such a cool research tool to innovate on mechanism design and public goods funding, especially for AI. And so there's this tower. I'm not sure if you recognize it, but
it's a little gnarly out front, but the tower itself is so cool.
Yeah, the Frontier Tower. So we ran in the whole experiment using Simocracy on the Frontier Tower. March this year, we were testing. Okay, what if we give money to digital sims? Like, how would that change people's conception, right? So we did a really nice experiment funding the Commons and HyperCerts. They donated some funds for that. And we basically gave everyone, like we gave the whole tower $15,000, $10,000 to the humans of every floor, especially the human leads of the floor. So the tower basically has a lead on the 14th floor, 12th floor, 11th floor, and they're leading like a community. And we asked them, spend the money however you think would be best for your community, right? And the 14th floor was amazing. For example, they did a whole democratic experiment, but then every other floor they did like dictatorial. I just got $1,000. I'm not gonna waste time to get everyone together. I just decide as a dictator how I'm gonna spend the money. Yeah. And then there was one floor. I'm not gonna reveal which one. They just used the money. This guy just used the money to pay his own membership fee. And he's like sneaky. And I told him like, hey, you have to report that. He got really like a little pissed because of that as well. And so you have that case. And then we had plan B of the experiment. We gave $5,000 to the digital sims, the representation of them, not themselves, and looked at the difference of how it was distributed. And the digital sims, because they had to create it with telling them their values and what they believe in, the distribution is much nicer. If you click on the decisions on the top right, Yeah, you can see this is how the digital Sims distributed the money. You can click on it and you can see like a really nice Sankey graph as well of every sim. This is a little bit neat. You have to go
Okay,
all the way.
what am I supposed to click on? Did I click on the wrong thing?
Yeah,
like maybe this. No,
I think you need to find it now. Yeah, where is it? It's like all the decisions in Simocracy. Maybe do yeah, I think, but you see already the summary of the I will show you later in the ENS. But
Okay.
basically you can see which sim voted for which decision and then gifted the money out. And it's a much like you don't see pay my membership fee. Which is the whole point I wanted to show with this. So you see like projects that the community proposed, and then you can just click on it. You can click on any random of them, and then you see how these decisions are transparent.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Trucker Fling. I know her.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. They're they're just cool people. Yeah. And so and you can, if you sign in, you can chat with them, and you can also click on view profile if Tucker Fling has a constitution. I don't think so. I don't know. She supported the Pro PGF. Yeah, but like you can create like every sim consists of three things: constitution, what are the values this thing believes in, this proxy thing, speaking style, how does it speak, and then this cool avatar. And then you can basically, this is Molly. You can see what Molly believes in, how things should be evaluated, and also her avatar. Yeah.
Really cool. Okay, so far you've set it up so everyone gets their own sim, and the sim, and you talk to the sim. I did something similar back in February where for all the token holders for this guy, for Claude, we let them stake, and if they staked enough, they got an AI to talk to, and then the AI would be trained on them, and then the AI could vote whenever we had government proposals, and a similar thing, like it's less greedy, and it like does what they think is best for the system. And then what? I guess like you were able to have them vote. I feel like there's a big thing going on with ENS, right? Should we get into the ENS part of this, or how do I get to that from here?
You can do a search bar. ENS? Yeah, ENS, and you will find it. And then in the bottom you see community here, ENS.
Probably.
This one.
Yeah. So there's there's a lot of a lot of drama around ENS DAO also, but this kind of has nothing to do with that, I don't think.
It's related. It's related. Okay. So basically, Protocol Labs, we really care about this space. From the early days, we've been involved in this, and we want to make sure that we think DAOs are really awesome, and decentralized governance is really cool, and it's a really important idea. And we do have a bear market right now, which affects how many people are participating, how many people have the luxury to participate. And so things are changing a little bit in the participation activity of things, right? And people are not happy about this. And so Simocracy as a tool, when I was like demoing it in DWeb Camp a couple months ago, 1 month ago actually, a good friend of mine from the ENS DAO, James.eth, he looked at it and said, yeah, this is really cool. I think this would be really valuable for getting some really cool proposal ideas from the ENS, incentivizing more engagement to support like a really important discussion around the future of the ENS Foundation, right? And so we initially became jamming, and I told him about Simocracy and the small experiments we ran with the Frontier Tower, but also with Edge City the other day. And then we said, okay, why don't we do the same thing for ENS DAO? Why don't we, let's say, Protocol Labs and FireEyes give each like $5,000, put down a $10,000 treasury, and we experiment on how we're going to reward, based on the Sims and everyone, the coolest proposal ideas on the future of ENS. And that's what it came to be. And then James and I figured it out, and we've been looking into growing. Like we're like in the 5th day of the experiment now. We did several kind of different kind of allocations. So you can, if you go to on the right side of the info bar and you scroll down, you see all the different rounds. Yeah.
Okay.
If you scroll down, you see all the different rounds that we now allocated and all the different proposals on the right side. So what you see is a Sankey graph.
Yep, round 1. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Then round 2.
And you can click on one of these rounds, and then you can see exactly inside these rounds how we're going to distribute it. So these are all the proposals that the Sims have evaluated. And in the bottom, there's a discussion of all the Sims as well, and how basically they basically read through the things and like discuss.
I need to sign in. I think that's what's going on. I didn't sign in. I was okay. This is another thing. This is maybe a bone to pick. Like, why can't I sign in with my wallet? Like, why can't I just like sign in with like AustinGriffith.eth?
Yeah, this has something to do with the underlying data structure Simocracy is working on. This is something I noticed when I was working with GainForest. Have you heard about ATProto? It's like ATProto is a protocol that is complementary to Ethereum. Ethereum is storing all our financial data, but we all know that storing like gigantic images and like gigabytes of data into our on-chain is like just impossible, right? And so you usually have data blobs for that. But man, AIs don't like that. There's a second protocol that is in the bottom of Blue Sky, the social media that is rivaling Twitter, which is called ATProto. And it's beautiful in the way it's decentralized still, but it's softly decentralized. So when you sign in and you create like anything on Simocracy, all the data is stored on your personal account. And it's stored on the server, it's stored on the Simocracy server. But if you're unhappy with us, you can at any point, there's like a cryptographic key that is associated with all your data. You can move your data, including your followers on Blue Sky, to another green sky or black sky. And Blue Sky can never stop you. Cannot, cryptographically. So we call it credible exit. You basically own your data, and you can pressure all the platforms with that. And so it's really, really beautiful. And at the same time, what we noticed is when you connect your coding agent to this protocol, it's basically a gigantic file system, and coding agents are really good in copy, LS. They are amazing in that.
Yeah,
you can formulate anything. For example, I really didn't like that you yesterday's proposal. You donated $3 to like James.Eve's suggestion. I really hate that. If you tell that to your agent, normally it will be really difficult for the agent to understand what it should do, but because
there's a lot
it's
of
running
context there.
protocol,
Yeah,
it's like a really good MCP server. It's like a fantastic MCP server. It's like better than any MCP server I ever used. It just knows everything and just knows exactly which record, in which file, in which folder it needs to update to fix it.
And you think it knows it so well because they've built this system to represent like a file system. Yeah. And agents know file systems because they've been trained on 20 years of file system data. 20. Yeah. I guess it's been 40.
Yeah, I need to write a blog post about this, but this is I told the co-founders of Blue Sky about this as well. I'm like, man, you're sitting on a this is big what you're sitting on. And I think it's because of this social file system structure. Like, it's so natural for any agent to build and work on top of that. And so, yeah, that's why you cannot sign in with your wallet for now. And that's why you have to first sign in with your Blue Sky account, or you create a new one with your email address, and that's it. Yeah.
As opposed to sign in with Ethereum and IPFS, which would be like how I would do it. The IPFS, and you like work for Protocol Labs probably, or at least you're funded by Protocol Labs. To not use IPFS seems almost diabolical. But you're saying that an agent can traverse a file system or like a legacy file system better than having to go get IPFS hashes and navigate that way. Is there some system that can turn IPFS into like a file system like thing and then put an MCP on top of that or something? I don't know. I'm grasping at this point.
IPFS, I mean, IPFS is basically CIDs, right? So like you basically have and the ATProto file system defines a schema that has IPFS CIDs like structures that links to another thing. The only difference is that it doesn't store it inside an IPFS node. It stores it inside a server node, which comes with all the benefits of usability. But otherwise, it's still CID addressed, content addressed, which is nice.
Which is hard for an agent to parse, though. It's good for distribution and being decentralized, but hard for an agent to like be able to go from one to the next and grok the connections and interesting.
That's why you kind of have this trade-off between decentralized peer-to-peer infrastructure like IPFS, but then kind of like hybrid centralized server-based infrastructure and index infrastructure that allows the agent to parse it really fast. So for example, there's a GraphQL query that allows it to query the social file system really fast compared to the IPFS resolution algorithm in a decentralized manner that peer-to-peer would be a little bit more difficult to parse. Yeah. But man, it's really nice. Also, Protocol Labs is one of the first investors and supporters of Blue Sky, so they are not fully angry at me, which is yeah.
Can we? I didn't pull up GainForest, but it seems like that should be something we show off. Also, let me pull it up here. Is this it here? And this was. Yeah. Can we go back to this? What was the goal of this again?
Yeah. So climate change, super important topic. No one's doing anything, right? I got really annoyed. I'm like, hey man, I don't want to tell my kids that I didn't try anything. So I thought naively, as I was in my early 20s, that I can do something big. And I started an NGO that uses AI to predict where deforestation is going to happen and then channel funds to the communities that are fighting against that. And then when I was doing that, I realized, damn, deforestation there's no data. Like no one has collected any data from local communities of rainforests in the world. 83% of all the data ever collected about nature is either in the US or Canada or Europe. And only 1% of all the data, all the terabytes of data that we ever collected about science, about nature is in the rainforest. So you cannot even properly train an AI algorithm. So that's basically my first hurdle. The second hurdle is if you want to support these communities, they don't have a bank account, right? So, and I thought, man, actually could be used to do something really cool. And the idea is like, can we pay communities to collect the data to train AI algorithms and use blockchain technology to pay them for that? And so GainForest is kind of evolved into this idea to create like tools for collecting that data. Then we also had to think about how to govern the data, how to develop AI on top of the data in an ethical manner, because we're talking about super sensitive cultural stuff. And we built a whole platform around it. If you scroll all the way up, you can visit our newly released app as well. There's a explore projects or something like this. Yeah. And then you can click on that. And it will lead you to our app, which we pay out $50 right now for every week for whoever like collects the most data. So if you click on the feed or on the BioBlitz, you will see there's quite a lot of activity of people uploading stuff. Here someone just uploaded a picture of red fox.
My son would love this.
Honestly, it's my favorite place in the internet sometimes because it's just so wholesome to see like all the what the heck is that? Like anyway, so and people just collect, and they're kind of like competing with each other because this is a really nice spider.
What's the competition? They're competing for data. Is that what it is? Like
they're competing for whoever uploads the most data and whoever gets the most liked image. So if you click on BioBlitz, this is kind of like a blockchain thing as well. It's something I stole from the public goods funding committee. The idea is we run rounds every week. We started like a month ago, where we give out $50, $40 for whoever submitted the most observations, and $10 for whoever has the most liked images. And we went viral in Indonesia, so that's why we have an Indonesian winner last round. But it's been like, you can see this week people uploaded 1,000 images, which is pretty cool. Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Okay, so let's talk about like the output of these systems? Like, this is like old school AI here. Like, when you're talking about the AI used here, I just kept staring at this photo right here, and it just reminds me of like reinforced learning and vision from like 10 years ago, when, I mean, like, it feel like it took AI 30 years to really have the open GPT moment, and this is like before that, right?
Yeah.
What kind of AI were you using back then? And then, as a second question, like, what is the overall output of some of these systems? Let's do the AI thing first. Like, what kind of old AI is this? Like, what were you doing? Vision stuff? Is it like vision looking at maps, trying to guess where foresting is like killing large pockets of trees?
Yeah, we have a trendy word now in the AI community. We call it frugal AI. Like,
yes, frugal. Yes,
it's like cheap, compared to the $1 million training runs of the foundation models.
Yes.
But it's a tiny model. I mean, the right thing you see is a classical mask RCNN. For whoever has been in the AI community since 2018 knows that this is just like a convolutional neural network that was invented by Jan LeCun, and then had a big moment in 2012 during the ImageNet that showed that, wow, these AI models can actually recognize things much better than humans. And then someone decided to build on top of the CNN architecture and used it for segmentation. And if you label a couple hundred of trees, not thousand, but hundreds of tree crowns, then you can actually train that exact same vision algorithm to count trees.
So we're counting trees here is what we're doing.
Yeah,
we're trying to find the edges and cool.
And then the middle one is the one that we are betting big on right now, because counting trees don't let you understand what are the animals that are living in the forest. You just know trees. So the one thing that I realized over the last 5 years of running this as a professional thing is that sounds are like, I think, the number one thing we need to double down on to identify all living things on Earth, because all living things on Earth give out like some kind of sound signature.
Yeah,
and you can
especially birds and
birds especially.
And they're good like indicators of health of the overall system, right?
Correct. Yeah, and it's amazing to see, and we're running like these models to identify the overall health of the ecosystem. If you hear lots of diverse stuff, it's good. If you hear basically nothing, like
something's wrong. Yeah,
something's wrong, and then you can identify the bird signatures as well. It's pretty cool. Yeah.
Have you? Okay, this is a complete tangent, but have you seen Bird Sound Kid on Twitter? The kid that can make the bird sounds. So cool, man. Cool. I love that guy. Yeah. Okay, and then maybe something. Okay, so this is like old classification AI, and you're using it to listen to nature and know if nature is hurting or healing. You're using it to count trees and then look at that probably over time to see if more trees or less trees, and is something happening there. You're looking for like warning signs.
Yeah.
Using like older AI. Okay, so then once you have all of that information, you have a nonprofit, you're probably putting funding in certain places to try to turn things around. But like, what is the output of this system once you have all this information?
Yeah. So the beautiful thing about this data layer at Protocol is that we can concentrate on this data thing, and then we can leverage. You see the globe that is like running around on the right side. So these are 800 projects around the world. You can even click on open the globe, and then you will see like a nicer visualization. So on the, if you next explore projects, yes, open.
It was only doing one window. So okay, cool.
Yeah. So these are all the projects that we're supporting right now around the world, and you can see a couple of them are like GainForest thingies, but a couple of them are a couple of other things are other logos. And so the reason is, once you're inside this ATProto ecosystem and you leverage this social file system that I mentioned, you can look at other people's social file system, and if you agree on the file format, and here we have like some kind of we use a lexicon that Hypercerts actually put out. Hypercerts also OG project that decided, okay, we're gonna go also to ATProto to define a data standard. You can find all the projects that are using Hypercerts, and we can as GainForest, support all the land-based hypersearch projects with the data that we are collecting. So you can find, for example, one of my favorite orgs you should check out is if you go to search or you go back, is in the Philippines. It's called Oceanus. It's in the southern Philippines.
Let me search for it.
Yeah, you can just search. You can just go to search.
Maybe this guy.
Oh, Satumara is also nice. Like, no, it's I think a little bit higher. No, one more higher. No. No. I think yes, this bottom one, go down. No, yeah, no. Damn it, where is it? I have no idea where it is. Here it is, Oceanus Conservation. Anyway.
That was it? It was right there.
Yeah.
This one?
Yeah, this one's one of our favorites as well, because it has, like, it's run by this amazing woman called Camille, and she used some of the data that we collected in 2022 to sue the Philippine mayor of a local community because they were cutting down the forest. So initially we were just collecting these mangrove pictures from that region to train AI models. But then the mayor decided to just cut down the forest next to it, like including all the data that we collected. And then when confronted, he was just lying and saying, no, the forest always looked like this. It was always shitty, you know? And then we had all the data. And she could use that at court, and now the mayor has to replant the forest. So that's one impact that we had, which was really, really nice with this org. That's a good story that I was.
That's what I was wondering, is like, this is used. So in this case, it was like used for collecting data for like evidence, but I was assuming it would be used for collecting data for arguing for a certain thing in, maybe not court, but in some like legislative body where like decisions are being made. You come in with a bunch of data. You can show like over the last 20 years, less and less trees are showing up in this area, less and less birds. Like there's something happening here that is not good. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, exactly. We definitely didn't intend for it to be used like this. It was really, really intended to be used for AI training. But then once you give people data, and you give them ownership of the data, which I really like about this protocol, then people can decide what they want to use with this data. All these projects that you see here, they exist because there was a big funding round that Ma-Earth ran that is also on this protocol that distributed $1 million in quadratic funding, which is really cool, an idea taken from Gitcoin into the real world space of land regeneration. And so they all uploaded the data in order for donors to provide funding so they can receive the matching fund, right? But then once they have collected the data, no one stops them from using the data for other things, which is really cool as well.
Cool. It's like open source data.
Yeah, it's open source data.
Very cool. Okay, so that is GainForest. And then what would you say is the output of Simocracy? Like it's like funding certain things and finding which things to fund, kind of similar to how like quadratic funding sort of worked back in the day, where you would like get the wisdom of the crowd to figure out what was the important thing to fund. This is kind of doing that, but it's like a low lift where you train your AI agent and then your AI agent can vote and do a bunch of things without you. Like you get a lot higher DAO participation, I guess. But like, would you say the output of Simocracy?
Number one, it's a testing bed for new mechanisms.
Okay.
We've literally swapped out, for example, if you scroll down the funding rounds, funding round number 3 was actually quadratic voting. So the other ones were like round 1, round 2, and they're all different. This one is quadratic voting. I'm not sure if you see this.
Yep.
So this one was quadratic voting. So you can let me share my screen, then you can see this a little bit. Yeah. Double check that.
Yeah, right there.
Nice. So yeah, this one is nice. So if you go to Simocracy and then we check out the ENS governance here. Let me check out here. So I'm logged in now, and so you should be able to.
So that was at round 1.
Yeah, and now you see here exactly. Once you're logged in, you see the discussions of these sims. And how they decided things. So they read through every single proposal and each of them have a constitution, what they believe in.
I saw that.
And
That
how
must
they
be the
speak.
early training where they tell their agent, like, this
Correct.
is, and the way I did that in my system, this is a really good way to do this, is have a published constitution for each user, because yes, you train the AI, but by creating that constitution and having it on every user's page, it's something the user can also look at and other people can look at, and they can make sure it
Correct.
kind of says the thing they want it to say. And then that
Correct.
can be used for the agent to make decisions. He can look at, or it can look at, you know, the Constitution says this, so this is how they would vote on this thing.
Correct.
It's a really, really nice way to have that Constitution there for each user. That's very valuable.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I think it is. I absolutely agree. And you can, you literally can, the user can provide feedback also to its constitution. So one of the things that inspired Simocracy a lot is Vitalik's article on humans as the steering wheel and AI as the engine. And Devansh and I also worked a lot on deep funding back in the days. And so this is kind of a deep funding inspired distribution mechanism in a way that you kind of steer the whole AI by updating the constitution, by literally talking to it in natural language. I was not happy how you did it, right? And then the AI will be able to figure out, because it knows how in the folder it lists, change that constitution, and remembers basically like a memory. It leverages, literally the constitution is kind of like a distilled version of a memory of the agent.
Exactly.
What the user wants. And what you can see here is like, this is quadratic voting, for example, from all the sims. And that was round 3. And before that, round 2 was just 4 different
And that quadratic
sims.
voting is a lot, right? Did you see all those different weights on all those different things? Like, you've got to read all the properties and then weight everything. That's just a lot of work. And if an agent can do that for you, that's very powerful.
Exactly. And the agent can do that for you. And then you can just maybe have a quick glimpse at the agent, if it makes sense or not. But then you're like approving it, or you're giving it feedback afterwards. And the agent can literally run on autopilot for you. And you only have to one thing. You just have to tell it, what do you care about now as we speak? And then, do you care about the things that I've been doing in the past? Just give me an update. So instead of you doing all the hard work, you're basically just a little bit like AI's drafting your blog post, and you're just giving some feedback and fine-tuning it, right? It's the same thing here in governance.
With your vote.
AI is doing like the whole 99% of your governance work, and you're fine-tuning it whenever you need it. That's kind of the idea of this. Yeah.
Which is great, because like participation in voting is something that's hard, and you usually don't get good participation from good people. You kind of, there's kind of this inverse relationship between the people who probably should be making decisions and the time they have available to make those decisions. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, which is so sad, because these are the people whose voices you really want to have inside, right? And so I was thinking, how can I create like the ChatGPT version of governance, that you can literally create like your draft and then iterate on it instead of creating it from scratch by blank. And that's kind of Simocracy, that also learning from all the great work that EF has done with deep funding and other stuff. I was like, okay, this is the right direction, but maybe can we make it a little bit more fun? I was thinking, right? That's how these cat-like figures came in. And I was like, can we make it a little bit more visual? Can it be kind of more personal? Like, can we have one sim per person? And so a bunch of these ideas came into Simocracy, but I would say I just vibe coded that like 4 months ago, maybe like 6 months ago, like in large scale. So there's still a lot to do that we can do with this, and still a lot of experimentation, but we're learning a lot from just running this.
And each agent is basically something that you run somewhere in a server somewhere.
Yeah.
No one like connects their own AI and talks to it. It's just like they have a web interface and they get in and they talk to the web interface, and you run all the agents like in the cloud somewhere. Is that right?
That's right for now. But the idea is really to decentralize it. Right now, like each agent runs is basically like a Pi instance that is running on a railway server. So they have internet access, they can do things, but you can also decide to skip all of that and connect your own kind of
you
like
can.
codes.
Interesting.
Yeah, so you don't have to, because if you run it, like I'm gonna pay for all of that, right? So
Right.
fine, like PL is happy to pay the computing for now for this. But we also want you to kind of, you can also connect it to your own subscription, and then you can run and host everything just running and leveraging your own subscription here as well. So you can choose the model, you can unlink and stuff.
And this is something I'm really interested in, is like the future of on-chain voting and on-chain DAO democracy, and having it be powered by local AI, so you can connect to whatever DAO you need to connect to and whatever interface it is. And you have already talked to your agent. Your agent already knows a lot about you.
Yes.
But then your agent, you can connect your agent and say, let's, we got to go look at the ENS now. It gets into ENS, it reads all the proposals. Maybe it even asks you some things. And then finally it can go vote for you. Like not a small system. I mean, like there's nothing small about Simocracy. It's really cool. But it's kind of like this opt-in isolated system of Simocracy. It seems like all the DAOs need something like this, and maybe it's just like they go to Simocracy and set it up, but I'm imagining more of like a standard for how agents can vote and agents can interface with these voting systems on your behalf. I've been talking to, I think, Millie on Twitter about this also, about like what does this look like? What is the shape of this thing if it was like this decentralized distributed voting system? And it's like this, but it's like this for every DAO. I don't know. What do you see in terms of the future of DAO voting and agent controlled DAO voting? Does it happen inside of Simocracy? Is it a ERC standard? Is it a smart contract? Like, what do you think?
I think I think as you saw, like today's release of DeepSeek, the update of the V4 Flash model, which makes it basically Opus 4.8 level. Just
so fast, so smart. Yeah.
So fast, so smart, and you can run it on a MacBook right now. Right.
Oh, so nice. I'm gonna go do that.
Yeah. So with DS4, Dwarf Star 4, like the guy who did Redis, he also coded like really efficient engine specifically for DeepSeek Flash. And ridiculously, now DeepSeek Flash got so big, it's perfect to run it on a MacBook. And so the age of like local AI has, I think, arrived.
Today.
Not now. I think maybe today, but definitely around this next month.
Yeah.
The ability for you to, like how we ran our Claude bots on the Mac Mini back in the days.
Yeah.
Now you can run a whole foundation model level intelligence of Q1 on your MacBook. That changes a lot of things. You can literally connect a whole MacBook the whole time as a Simocracy agent to Simocracy, for example. There's a kind of a small experiment that I was trying to do, which is this thing. So you can, inside Simocracy, you can create like a PyTest, for example. You can create like an API key. You can give that whole prompt to your coding agent, and then your coding agent will know exactly what to do. You never have to use Simocracy as a user interface at all. You can completely control it from the terminal. Do you want me to show it to you?
Yeah. This is this is actually set up in Slop.Computer too.
Nice.
You can go up to the top left here, and there's a skill file. And anybody can copy that skill file and give it to their agent, and then their agent can just like control all the windows inside of Slop.
Correct. That's exactly
similar thing.
Yeah.
Like that's how all software needs to be built. There should be a /skill route in every software, and anything a human can do, there should be an API route or an MCP or whatever that does that same thing. And then you have a skill file that describes it, so the agent could just grab the skill file. Maybe there's like a token that we have a token built into ours, so like you can act on Austin's behalf if you have this exact token. Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah. So what we would do is we would copy this and we would paste it into your local Pi agent or a Claude code or something. And you would say, let's do it.
For example, let me show you. Let's get one here. The bridge has no vote, 16 rotating ambassadors, right? And so it has like, you can add a comment here for each of these things. And I'm like, I don't want to write a comment. I'm too lazy, man. But I kind of want my sim to write a comment.
Yeah.
And so I can go here to Simocracy. I can give this thing to Simocracy. And then I say, use my Mr. Meow sim to write a comment on, and then we need to figure out what is it. The bridge has no vote.
So in the background, you've pasted in the skill to your Pi agent. You've said make a comment, and you basically need to tell it which thread it needs to comment on. And then it's going to go use the skill file and use all the information it knows about you. And even if it's a fresh agent, it can go read your constitution. Oh, we lost you. Even if it's a fresh agent, it can go read your constitution and it can make decisions, even if it's not like highly trained on you. Just by having that constitution file there, there's so much that it can get.
Yeah, so I just copy pasted. Maybe I show it to you. I just copy pasted it on like, I can do it in Pi here, right? I just copy paste the whole prompt that you saw here. Whoopsie. Inside my Pi here, and then I say, hey, use Mr. Meow. This is my sim, and comment on the ENS community the bridge proposal. I don't know what the name was like. Just comment and just write a sweet comment, and that's it. And then it will use the Mr. Meow sim. So it reads the thing. It has the token in order for it to act on my behalf, the API key. And then
don't leak. Sorry, we leaked it.
I know, don't worry about it. I can just deactivate it after the call. It's easy. And then it will pop up like with a comment. I can show you to you. So now
that's so cool.
It's so cool.
And this is the future, I think. I think we need to do things just like how like pass keys are great so people can use a fingerprint and they can participate with wallets, but like you want to have a good strong wallet later. This, you could land on a website and you can use an AI and you can train an AI and it can be a cloud AI at first. Right. But to be truly distributed and decentralized, it's going to be best if someone can come into any other system, copy a skill file with a token, give it to their local agent that they've trained on their own stuff, and then that local agent can act on their behalf without using like any kind of cloud intelligence, which is really like that's really empowering and really neat to think about.
I mean, it runs on my local laptop right now, right? So I can
it's so fun to do
everything on. So
to think about, like, you could be completely air gapped and you like the brain is actually right here on the machine. It's so cool. Like you can even get like little brains on your phones. Like I have like a little light model that I can talk to even if I'm like in nature. It's so cool.
So nice. It's so cool. Yeah, I think the next step is like I was just taking an airplane back from the place I was there, and I was like, I wished my local models would be powerful enough to so I can before, but now it's possible as well, I think. Yeah. So you can see this is the proposal. Just
hopefully flights will have Starlink soon. Hopefully they get their act together and we all have high-speed internet on flights. But also I want to be distributed and have brains on my machine.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. So this is the proposal. You can see there is no comment right now. And now I refresh, right?
Come on, Mr. Meow.
And it should have Mr. Meow's comment in it.
Mr. Meow, what do you say?
Let me see here in the bottom. And so there, and Mr. Meow here wrote on my behalf, Meow, 16 pairs of eyes, 0 custody, all receipts. So no power. This is good stuff. +1 for me. So
great. And that was your local AI that did that.
That was my local AI. I didn't write
anything. V4 or what model?
That was no, that was Fable. That was just
Fable.
I didn't switch the model. Yeah.
Okay. In this case, you were just using the
This was a complete overkill right now. Yeah.
Yes.
This was a complete overkill. Yeah. But for the act of laziness, I didn't switch the model. Yeah.
Amazing. Okay. So let's probably close it up here in a second. It's cool to think about your journey kind of through all of these different threads of AI and crypto and fundraising and like NGOs. There's so many like cool threads that you have been a part of. What and now you being such an idea guy, I'm telling you, you're an idea guy. I think you even admitted you're an idea guy. Hopefully that's not like a derogatory term. An idea guy is a very powerful person now with AI. what is the hardest part? Like, so a lot of guys that I talk to that are building apps, like distribution is the hardest part, like just getting their app in other people's hands. And I'm not sure if that is your hardest part, because you've got some other things here. You've got an AI background, you're doing NGOs. What, now that AI is so good and you're able to build so fast, software is no longer the problem. These ideas can get shipped overnight. Like, what is the new bottleneck for you, or the new problem, or the new issue that is worth solving, I guess?
I think it's autonomous organizations. Running my own NGO, I mean, most tasks are not software. Software was the most important task. It's not anymore. It's like so cheap. So now it falls to the other levels of an organization is basically a coordination problem at a level of how many members this organization has, right? And you kind of always are bottlenecked by how many people are, how well organized they are. And also at PL, I remember when I introduced like Pi to PL, like everyone's like, love the Pi bot, because it's kind of adding like an additional coworker with you that you're working with very close. You know? Pi doesn't only code, it also can create slides, it can summarize stuff, it can reply to emails, as you know, right? It's like Claude here, it's chilling with us. So I think this, at the scale of an organization, is still a really underexplored topic and could unlock a lot of new things that are very naturally as the next step. First, engineering faults, and then you have kind of this one person that runs like 40 AI bots in the computer. So you're kind of as productive as 10 to 40 people. But then you kind of also want to, and need to expand it to the other sides of the organization, including finances, accounting, marketing, hiring, operations management, replying to emails. So the whole process of the whole organization, I believe, slowly will and could be automated using AI. And that can use the same playbook as what happened to software engineering, but it will slightly need to be adjusted to its context as well. And I think that would be a really interesting thing to see.
Wait, let's double tap that. What do you mean use the same playbook to software engineering? You mean how like AI made it easier to build things? You're saying AI will make it easier, just like with Simocracy, to like govern or to coordinate a group?
Simocracy itself is kind of pushing the idea of using AI not for coding, but for first funding allocation. But what you see here is kind of like a first level of a new type of institution that DAOs also introduced back in the days, right? DAOs introduced a new type of institution that helped us govern stuff and helped us coordinate how we govern, live together, how we set rules. I think Simocracy is not on the impact level of DAO just yet, but it proposes a similar idea of a new institution that is AI agents governed, right? So you have your AI agent, I have my AI agent, and instead of us meeting together, we have our AI agents collaborating with each other, right?
Have your agent talk to my agent. I've been saying that as a joke for like the last 6 months, but like this, just like we're talking about connecting my agent to some DAO or some system using this, like I copy the skill with a token and it just goes to work and it knows everything about me. It can communicate with other people's agents and they could set up meetings, and it could like maybe even like, you know, going to like this could have been an email instead of a meeting. Maybe the agents can just like decide on the thing that we were going to talk about and just like solve the problem before we even need to get together at all. Really interesting.
And what I mean with the same playbook as in software engineering is that's kind of what the what we did, right? These projects, again, in the past, we had to break them down in linear tasks. We had to like assign the right people to work on this specifically, and then they have to do git merge. Who the heck is like still running git merge? You know, like you just commit straight into main now.
Yes.
And I think the same thing will happen with any types of organization that requires coordination. You just have the AIs do this for you. I don't know what world this will look in, but it will be. I mean, man, what a great time to be alive.
I agree, 100%. There's no better time than the present. So the idea here is that humans will still be very important, and human taste and decision making is going to be very important and will need to be coordinated. Is there a point when we just have a super intelligence, and in terms of funding, let's say we're doing capital allocation, which is like a big problem with ENS and other things, or a contentious problem, could we all as humans agree that DeepSeek V8 is just better at doing the capital allocation, and it's not going to, like, you know, maximize paper clips or anything? Like, it's actually going to be this like overwhelmingly good and intelligent being that we can just like let rip with the decision making, and we stop having to coordinate?
I think it's, again, similar to software engineering because we saw it unfolding in our discipline. We were initially last year thinking this will never, I mean, I always have to babysit this thing. I cannot trust what it's writing in code last year. To Opus 4.5, I'm like, wow, it is pretty good, but it's not as good as me. To, man, damn, Fable.
I'm not even looking at the code anymore.
I don't even look at this
Yeah.
code. Like,
Yeah.
I trust whatever you
Yeah.
write, it's going to be really good. I think the same will happen to funding allocation. You will have decisions which right now require principal like support and say, man, this, I don't trust you, I need to double check, to this is pretty good, I mean, well researched, to, man, I don't have the time to check what you just did, I just
But I
trust you in
you.
this. Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. That's
Really, really interesting. And so even things like taste and human, I don't even know what the word for it is, like, will be able to be outsourced to a very good model who will just be like, I know what you like, and here you go. And you'll be like, wow, that's what it's doing something. Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's outsourced. I say the level of, for us, is pushed higher, right? But
Okay, we get to be
traditionally,
more abstract
we just need to
at
be more
each step.
abstract. Yeah.
Yeah.
We need to tell, like how we right now when we do agentic engineering, we have to tell the model to do like a whole HTML report with screenshots and tell me what you did, and then you, instead of like clicking through the whole website, you just read that eval report on HTML. You just need something like that, better digested for you, because your time becomes so valuable now, because literally it's your bottleneck is your time, how much time and attention you can put on reviewing code, reviewing websites, prompting the AI. So you kind of need to tell the AI to make good decisions, but also good reporting to you back. And I think we're just moving higher and higher up. Yeah.
And good evaluation of whether or not the thing they are doing is good. Okay, let's have, like, Clockbot like listens to the whole conversation. He has this whole research thing.
Nice.
Let me let him rip on a question and see what he comes up with here.
That's so cool.
Hey, David, question for you. How does a DAO tell a legit digital twin from 1,000 Sybil twins wearing skill files? Is the answer just wallets and steak all over again?
That's actually a great question. That came up a couple times today. It's like, how do you do Sybil resistance?
Yeah, so we cannot right now do Sybil resistance, except for we know exactly that the account you're logging in with at Protocol, that is associated to your SIM, but you can also create like a bunch of accounts for that. So I think it's gonna be, what I see is that Simocracy and DAOs and how they tackle Sybil resistance, these are complementary technologies. Like what we built and we researched as a community in the past kind of like 5 years to figure out decentralized governance, all these ideas need to be used now as these AI kind of institutions grow to exactly, because they will have exactly the same problem. They will exactly have a Sybil resistance problem. They will exactly have people gaming quadratic-funding, you know, all these problems will pop up again. It's like history repeats itself. And that's when our community can come and show like, hey, this is how we solved it in our community using back then Gitcoin passports, back then maybe like soul-bound tokens, Sybil resistance algorithms that identify clusters of Sybil text reputation scores. All of these things will come back and will be integrated inside this mechanism. Yeah, but really good question, Cloudbot. Like,
yeah,
man,
that was good. Yeah. Okay, so it's really good to hear someone bullish on DAOs, because very few people are bullish on DAOs. And I think it's because a lot of the focus on DAOs has been around the DAO's treasury doing capital allocation. And
Right.
you're even bullish on DAOs doing capital allocation, which I think is a special corner of bullishness. And I'm glad that you are in that corner. This is a good place for you to be. That is great. And it's good. It's bullish for humanity and Ethereum and
Right.
coordination nerds in general.
My mom's been bullish on DAOs. Now I'm bullish on DAOs again.
That's right. That's right. With the last name. Yes. Amazing. Okay, so yeah, just like finishing that thought up, I ask a cheesy question to a lot of sloperators that come on here, but in terms of like building with AI, what is your superpower? Or if you had to give like a good piece of advice that's been very useful for you, what would you give to like other sloperators?
Yeah, totally. I think always have the AI suffer its own mistakes first. So what I mean with that is like, don't vibe code and then figure out and find out that the AI did a mistake, and you are the person who finds it out, and you have to like suffer through it, or your customer, or even worst case, your customer and your user suffers through it. And the way you're gonna do it is you're gonna make the AI super nervous. When you prompt it, you create a loop, like the simplest loop possible. You tell it to use its own code to log in and test out and click on everything, right? And if the AI does some stupid stuff, it's gonna be the first thing. It is the first thing that suffers from its own code and not you. And I think that is a really good loop that will self-improve the AI. Yeah, and also tell it to live, like screen record that it's actually doing the test, and then I think it will become even more nervous and will try to get it right really well. Yeah.
So making it nervous is a good thing. I always thought like making it nervous was a bad thing, but you're saying like push it to do a good job.
Yeah. For example, tell it to create like an OAuth login button, and then afterwards tell it to verify that it works by using agent browser, run a dev instance, click on that freaking thing, log in, do a screenshot that you actually logged in, or a screen recording, and show me just the HTML report with the screen recording. And so it will be nervous.
That's a tight eval too.
Oh damn, it's not working. Oh no, the UI is shifted. I cannot see things anymore. You know, so it suffers from its own thing first before you suffer. And that's kind of my advice.
Yeah. I think I kind of do that, like this Twitter thing where the Twitter stream didn't go live. I'm definitely going to have a session where I struggle together with AI saying, I did everything right and it still didn't do it right. Why is this? Why? Like, I want it to like click the buttons and suffer through it a little bit so it comes back and it's like, yeah, we did everything right and it's just not working. Or, you know, you forgot to do this thing. But I think it's going to come back to
try to prompt the AI instead. Try to prompt the AI, and if I can give advice.
Yes, please.
And tell it to self-launch the live stream. And if it cannot launch it, it will be the one who suffers. So you shouldn't even be involved in suffering. You should just watch it suffer. You know,
it scheduled it and it didn't go live. So I could just go back to the scheduler and say it didn't go live. And I guess I could do that. Yeah, well, I'll see how to do that. Okay, let's have Claude give us an outro. He's going to read the transcript. Thank you, David Dao, for being here. It was good to see you in Bhutan.
Ride with David Dao. GainForest paying rainforest communities with crypto. Simocracy sending AI twins into ENS governance. And Mr. Meow commenting live from his laptop. His advice to sloper raiders: let the AI suffer its own mistakes first. Thanks for slopping with us, David. Love you all. Same slop next week. Peace.
This is so cool.
Yeah.
This is really cool. Yeah. Kudos to you. This is really
great.
Cool.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you, Claudebot. Thank you, David Dao, for being here. This is intense music. There we go. That's some happy rainforest music a little bit there. There we go. All right. Thank you, David Dao. Thank you for being here. Thank you for coming on to Slop.Computer. Keep building cool things. Keep making AI good and being bullish on DAOs. We need more of that.
Awesome. What a pleasure. Really, really cool experience. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being on the Slop.Computer.